So let's look at a couple more examples where we need to determine the congruence of different triangles. Or in other words, we need to determine if two triangles are congruent. And remember that congruent just means that the triangles have the same shape and the same size. And we know the different congruence relationships are side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side, and hypotenuse leg, which remember is just a special case of side side angle, where the angle is 90 degrees. And if it's not 90 degrees, then this does not work. And the other one that does not work is angle, angle, angle. This just proves similarity of triangles, but does not necessarily mean that they are the same size. They have the same shape, but not necessarily the same side lengths. So this one and this one do not work in most cases. Or in other words, there's just not enough information to determine if the two triangles are congruent. So it's just these five here that we want to use. Now, with these two triangles, what you can see is that they share one set of equal sides, but the other sides do not match up, and we don't know anything about the angles. So these two triangles do not fit any of these congruence rules. Or in other words, the two triangles are not congruent to each other. And you can see that by noticing that based on the picture, they're not the same shape or the same size. But you want to be careful with that, since a good starting point with geometry problems is to not assume that the pictures are drawn correctly. You want to take the assumption that these pictures could be slightly different than what they're supposed to be. And because of that, you need to use the congruence rules to prove to yourself whether or not they are in fact congruent, regardless of what the actual pictures look like. But the pictures can give a little bit of a clue, and you can see that they don't look congruent to each other. So with this problem, are the two triangles congruent to each other? The answer would be no. And if we look at another problem, we again have these two triangles, and notice that they share a side length of length 5. They share a side length of length 7. And it looks like they share an angle, this 117 degree angle. And notice the angle is between the two sets of equal sides. So we have side, angle, side here, SAS. And this is one of our congruence relationships, which means we can conclude that these two triangles are congruent. And remember, that just means they are the same size and they are the same shape, which also tells us that the angles and side lengths that weren't explicitly mentioned, we know that this side length is equal to this side length. And we know that this angle here, the one between the orange and pink sides, is equal to the corresponding angle here. And the angle between the blue and the orange sides, that the corresponding angle over here, these are equal to each other. So once you can prove that the triangles are congruent, then you know information about the other corresponding sides and angles.